Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I got a question on my DMs on Instagram yesterday, and it was a really good one. So I wanted to answer it in a little vlog for you. And so the question was, how do you even get started on a plant-based diet, and what are you actually eating? So I wanted to clarify because the way that I view eating plant-based is different than some people label it. And so I want to explain what it is, just so it's out there and you know, if you're in my world at all, kind of the view that I hold for it, because it's very inclusive. Because what I want for more than anything is for anybody out there watching to be able to confidently add more real food to their body, so, and therefore to their life. And that means eating closer to what's natural and eating plant-based. So what do you even eat on a plant-based diet? Well, you're eating plants, but what does that mean? It means that your intention and that your focus when you're thinking about all of your meals through the days are first and foremost built around eating plants. And when I say plants, I mean fruits, vegetables, herbs, seeds, as a huge component, and then also legumes and gluten-free grains and those type of foods as well, and foods that are made from those foods. So it's everything whole and it's everything real. And in my perspective, in my philosophy on eating plant-based, it's not the same as being vegan. And so I don't think that you need to label yourself. And sometimes when people do that, it becomes just hard, because then you feel like if you decide something different because you just do, then that you're breaking like your own word, or you're breaking a rule or something, when food isn't meant to be that way. So I call myself or my diet a plant-based diet just because that's all I do. I have a high intention and priority on getting real nutrient dense healing foods into my body across the board all the time at every meal. And I do that because I know how my body works. I know how the body works. And when you put in the foods that the body is like, yeah, that's my fuel, that makes sense, that matches me, then your body has ease, and then your body can flow and feel good and look healthy and look the way you want, and you'll feel good in your own skin. So when you're thinking about your breakfast, when you're thinking about what you'll eat for lunch, when you're thinking about your dinners, it's going to be very colorful, and it's going to be made of fruits and vegetables mostly. Now that doesn't mean like only, okay, but it means a lot of them. And so that's another side component to this first tip. So you're going to be eating, actually this is helping me move into the second point, but you're going to be eating probably more than you think, and more than you are now if you are eating more of like a standard American diet. And here's why. So this is point number 2. You don't have to measure. You don't have to measure. You don't have to measure grams. You don't have to measure calories. You don't have to measure the size of your palm of, anything necessarily, because that's not how food actually needs to be seen. Or I'll share with you how I see food. That makes it so much more simple. Okay. So I love this because you don't need to have like an app or a tracker and like look up a, Apple or whatever, because food is energy and you are energy. Your body is energy. So when you see that food is energy and that all plants are energetic beings and components and work with our body in that way, then all you have to know is that the plants, the foods that you choose that are plants, fruits, vegetables, legumes, herbs, whatever, those are all positive energy foods. This is how I explain it. So when you have a food that is positive energy, a plant, it's from the earth, it's grown naturally, then there's no harm done to your body or our bodies when we consume that food. So if you take, for example, apples, like I said, or you take spinach or carrots or zucchini or like whatever, it's all good for you. You don't have to worry. You don't have to question. And you'll know, like, if there's a food that you have like a belief around that you think it's bad for you, when you eat it, when you go to eat that food, you'll feel bad. You'll feel like guilt or shame or like worry about it, or you'll worry it'll do something bad for you or make you gain weight. But most people have an understanding, a basic concept that yeah, fruits and vegetables are good for me. Okay. So you don't need to get any further than that, really. When you see that they all have these like different aspects, they have all these different elements, like on the physical plane, they help us shift things inside, and they each have like emotional and spiritual components as well that help us in ways we do not even see, but we feel. And so when you can see that foods are energy, all you want to do is focus on pure energy foods or positive energy foods, because you can put them in. They only do good. I like to explain it like they're water soluble vitamins. So you can't, overconsume spinach to the point where you're going to like harm your organs or anything. And it's really hard to do that, right? Because they're filling and they have fiber, and they're just not made for binging, So sure, you want to check your hunger levels and emotional eating, but just know for sure, like when you eat plants, it's an energy exchange, and your body is receiving this positive energy from the foods, and it's receiving the real nutrients, but it's also receiving like just positive energy. It's like love. It's loving yourself to eat well. And because of that, the body will take what it needs. It will direct it in order of need for your body, and it will send it to where it needs to go. This is caveat. You need to have a healthy gut, but plant-based eating allows your body to have a healthier digestive system just naturally. And I have lots of videos on that if you check out my playlist for healing the gut, if you want to know more about that. And it's like there's no harm. So it's all good, and you don't have to measure. It's eating in abundance, okay? So eating in abundance is a side positive benefit of eating plant-based, okay? And going back to the first point, I do want to say, like, I'm not against people eating meat. I mean, I sometimes eat meat, not tons. Like, honestly, the more that I just allow myself to eat intuitively, the truth of the matter is your body is going to call you toward its healthiest state, and that's always going to include a majority of eating real food and a majority of eating plant-based foods, okay? And then you add the protein later on, which is point number 3, decreasing animal protein. So whether you're vegan or whether you're something else or just eat a lot of vegetables and fruit like me, the way that plant-based eating works is that you take a step back and you see that, oh, maybe what we've been told about needing so much protein is actually whacked out. Like, yes, it is. So you always have to remember when you have these thoughts, and this is a question that people ask all the time, right? Well, what about protein? Aren't you going to be worried about getting enough protein? And the truth is, like, protein is not what your body runs off of. Your body runs predominantly off of carbohydrates. And so you're completely supported and safe in eating mostly fruits and vegetables because they are carbohydrates, I don't know if you guys have heard that joke, but you know how everybody's making everything out of cauliflower right now, like cauliflower pizza crust, cauliflower crackers, cauliflower puffs, cauliflower in your smoothie. Well, like the joke is cauliflower is a carb, so if you're eating like low carb, you're still eating carbs. So it's just funny. Haha. I thought it was funny. So decreasing the meat. So what you want to do is, my first tip, which you might want to also check out my the Energy of Morning Routine video that is linked below. But you want to take animal protein out of your breakfast and out of the first meal of the day, because it's just energetically very heavy and it takes longer to digest, which is costing you energy. And so all you have to do is like think about how often you eat animal protein during the week and clean it up. So reduce it, maybe skip every other day. Maybe have it only once a day if you have it every meal right now, or maybe reduce your portion size in half or a third or a little bit less. And See how you feel, and don't freak out and think, oh my God, I need to eat protein. What if you didn't? What if you experiment and let your body breathe a little bit and have this chance to just feel what it feels like to eat positive energy foods that are a high frequency? It's only going to help elevate your health and your body and how you feel from the inside out. Okay. Okay. The next tip, I think we're at number 4. Yeah. Is food combining. So I don't follow this like super strictly, but food combining and plant-based eating work really well hand in hand because, as I mentioned at the beginning, plant-based eating is a positive energy for the body. And the biggest energy draw that our bodies have is the digestive system process. And so what you do when you eat plant-based is you automatically are relieving a lot of weight and work on our body's requirements to break down food. And so that's making everything easier. It's making like reducing inflammation easier. It's making it easier to cleanse, to purge, to eliminate, and to process foods. And so that's how you like get ahead with your health and make changes and see results. And the other thing you can look at, which I teach as well when we talk about plant-based eating, is this thing about food combining. So food combining is just like a little bit more focus on, okay, well, if I'm really understanding that the digestive system is the key to saving my energy from food and having better health, then what else is there to know about how my body sees food and receives food and breaks down food? And the main thing to know is that proteins don't combine very well with carbs or starches. And so the biggest thing that you could do to shift this to make it easier on your body and therefore have better health is to separate eating animal protein from carbohydrate foods, meaning like starchy vegetables, potatoes, corn, beans, black beans, like even those like chickpea pastas or those kind of things, or pastas in general, bread, quinoa, any kind of rice. Like, so if you had a hamburger on a bun, that's actually not properly food combined because the bun is a carbohydrate and the burger is animal protein. So what happens in the body is that it's it takes the longest for the body to work on the burger. So it's going to like work on the burger right away. It's like, okay, guys, the burger's here. So pause on the bun and whatever else this person you just ate. So that stuff just has to wait to be digested, which may seem like no big deal. And it isn't necessarily always a big deal if you have a quick, efficient gut, which is why you need this, so that you can eat a burger on a bun sometimes if you want without, problems. So the carbohydrate portions, anything else has to wait. So it sits in the gut. And if you don't have this quick digestive system or you have too much bacteria, parasites, the viruses that are like the core root of problems for people's health, those things will feed on the slow to digest carbs while the protein's being broken down. And you might have like a problem breaking protein down anyways. And so then it's like bloating, gas, or sluggish, or you feel heavy after you eat, or things like that. So that's the main thing to understand, is that you want to separate eating animal products from breads, starches, grains, legumes in general. So you can put animal protein with vegetables, which would be like your classic salmon salad, right? As long as there wasn't rice or quinoa on it. Or you could do a burger on a lettuce wrap, or just a burger on a salad, or chicken on a salad, or chicken and veggies. You get the point. I'll make another video about food combining to go a little bit more into detail, but I'm explaining this fully and taking you through it in my bootcamp, in my Plants Plus Pilates bootcamp. So you'll know everything you need to know if you want to join the bootcamp with me, which starts next Monday, June 15th. And that's linked below as well. Okay, and then the last tip I have for you guys to make shifting into plant-based eating super simple is Yes, we know we're focusing on vegetables. Yes, we know we're focusing on fruits, but my number one specific vegetable that I think is very important to add and easiest to add to your meals, like every meal almost, are leafy greens, okay? So at any given time, if you came to my house, you looked in my fridge, you would find at least two, probably always three different kinds of leafy greens. And I'll tell you exactly why and why this is a great tip to start eating more plant-based and how to use it. Okay, so you can add greens to literally anything and it won't change the flavor and it won't change the like consistency of your meal, your recipe. It will only add to the positive benefits. So the first thing you can think about is in the morning. Okay, well, how would I add greens to my breakfast? Well, maybe you wouldn't add them to your oatmeal, but you could add them to a smoothie and it would properly food combine as long as it was just fruit and greens. And that would be that. So you could just throw like spinach or like a softer lettuce into your smoothie, and that would be like so much good for like cleansing your gut, for scrubbing your gut, and just for nutrient density in general. And a secret is actually dark leafy greens are a very, very powerful plant protein. It's just nobody ever told you, right? You thought you had to eat chicken for breakfast. No, that's actually slowing everything down. So I wouldn't do that. Next, if you have soup, even if you bought like soup from the store, you could just throw some spinach in there that you have in your fridge, or kale. Obviously, mixed greens, you can make a salad. You can toss a spinach or a kale into a stir fry. You could throw it in a crock pot at the end. You can put it on a burger or on, just add a little bit into your roasted veggies or something like that, and you can juice it. So that's why it's super simple and effective, because they won't go bad in your fridge, right? Because you can use them in so many ways. And it doesn't have to change the flavor. So the ones that I would recommend would be triple washed organic spinach, triple washed organic mixed greens, because you can, make a salad or just toss a bunch of vegetables or protein on top. And like a mixture, I buy this blend from Costco called Power Greens, which is great for smoothies or juicing or like stir fries, but it's a combination of baby kale, spinach, and Swiss chard, I think. But the one thing I will say is, coarse curly kale, that's not the easiest to work with if you're new to eating more plants, because it's so rough and you kind of need to like know what you're doing with it. And if you put it in a smoothie, it will taste very gritty. And then you'll be like, I hate smoothies. Smoothies suck. When really smoothies are great and amazing, and they should taste good and be a lot of fruit. Okay. So those are my top 5 tips for getting started eating plant-based. And like I said, if you are super into this, or you want to eat plant-based, but you haven't been yet, or you want to take it to the next level and really like feel what it feels like to live and eat a plant-based lifestyle, then I'd love to invite you to check out my Plants Plus Pilates 6-week bootcamp. And it will be everything that you need to know about eating plant-based. I'll be guiding you through it, holding you accountable, showing you all my easy tricks and tips that make it so fast and simple to eat plants, because it has to be easy to follow a diet or it'll feel like a diet, right? And so this is really, really great way to educate yourself, to know what to do, to have such certainty and confidence around food and what you actually need, what your body's actually always been looking for, and how to make it the easiest to feel lighter, to feel better, to feel high energy, and to get results. So we're going to combine plant-based eating, and I'll help you find your style of it, with Pilates. So multiple Pilates classes a week, plus just the right amount of cardio so that you can get rid of the fat, see the toning, and get the results that you want. So that's linked below, or you can check out my website. And that's it. I'll talk to you guys soon.